in Podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that growler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live, episode 210, Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken, and we have a show for you live in studio.
Yeah, buddy.
Before we go through, Rob, what are you drinking over there?
I am drinking a couple things here. I've got the Orderville from Modern Times, a double dry hopped IPA, which is tasting like a double dry hopped IPA.
I still have one of their cold brew cans, the 300 milligram caffeine 8-ounce cans in my
Nice.
house. I need to drink it, but I need a day to drink it, like where I know I need to wake up.
Yeah.
But you got Modern Times. What else?
So I got that, and I got I just completely forgot what it was now.
Come on, Rob.
Cent'anni. It's a Italian ice kettle sour from ROAK. So I'm sipping on that. And real quick, actually want to give a quick shout out to my daughter, who is not listening right now.
Is she grounded?
She is not grounded. It is actually her birthday today.
Aww.
So to little Miss Rosalie, just wanted to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Dad loves you, sort of. I'm kidding. You're awesome.
When you behave yourself.
How old is she?
She's 15.
So in maybe 6 years, when she's probably able to start listening to this, she's going to listen to that.
Oh, she's probably going to listen to this tomorrow. I don't
I'm
know.
listening to Dad. What did you have to say? Oh,
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
That's what's going to happen.
Nick,
pretty
what
much
do you-
sound like my own dad saying happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
What are you drinking over there,
I
Nick?
got the Cent'anni from ROAK, the Italian ice kettle sour. And then as I continue to empty out my house of beer before the move, whenever that takes place, still no closing date, I got from Three Floyds a barrel-aged Behemoth Willet. Bottle 823 out of 1,516.
It's about Tree Floyds.
Well, yep, it's by Three Floyds. And it has no crazy art. It's just a plain brown bottle with green wax. They basically ironclad the bottle this time.
Almost looks like glitter on there.
Yeah. I have no idea how this is going to taste.
Yeah,
We're going to find out.
I'm about to
That's why we're here. We're here to have fun, talk beer, drink beer,
Oh.
including our resident writer, Ed. What's going on?
Not bad.
What's up, Ken?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You look mighty comfy in that sweater.
I am always comfy in this sweater.
That's
I live in it.
Do you ever take that sweater off?
I do.
to wash it every now and then.
Every now and then. It's my
Every now
Beer
and then?
Fest podcast.
That's a My Beer Box sweater.
It is a My Beer Box sweater.
I heard they're doing a huge deal, $20 per month for life
For
the
life,
the
with-
subscription with the Draftness 2020
Draftness 2020 because they are the
official sponsor
of March Draftness.
So before we go into our guests here, I want to kind of roll this out so you can fast forward about 30 seconds if you are listening live, just to get the results real quick. Your winners of the first round, we're just going to go through the winners real quick.
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
A shout out to JamX, who was actually the biggest, the most voted loser.
The biggest loser?
Yeah, 622 votes. They actually outvoted a lot of the other winners in the bracket. But going down the list, Copper Hop, Midland, Dark Horse, Crankers, One Well, Baffin, Oddside, B Nectar, North Center, Brewery 424, Mitten, Territorial, Batch, Presidential, Grand River, Tapestry, Austin Bros, Aberrant, Draft Horse, Vandermill, Brew Detroit, Railtown, Roke, Beards, Blake's, Brewery Becker, Farmington, Brooks, Speciation, Tenacity, Creston, and Experimentation.
It's a mouthful.
We also did our prediction challenge. Again, the winner of the prediction challenge is going to get a $100 gift card to the brewery of their choice. Has to be one of the 64 breweries that participated. And currently, one of the winners actually has our guest who is going to be winning the contest. 27 correct guesses for 3 of the people. I do want to give a shout out because I know she does listen to the show a lot. But Elise actually had 25.
Okay.
Damn.
So
Nice.
a good little shout out there.
Anyone on staff do decent?
I actually have no idea.
I will just simply.
I did 21. Rob did 20.
Okay, what
Really?
about Ed? What did Ed do?
Yeah, but Rob had drafting table winning.
Yeah, Yeah.
And Ed,
Bracket
if you named it, you didn't add staff to it, so I can't.
I actually had to do it twice because I created one and I was like, what do I need a title for? And I just went through and was like,
Yeah, that's
Oh.
that's why I needed a title. So then I created another
Okay, well, I'll
one.
go back and figure it out for myself.
Well, making news recently here in Michigan Brewing, we have return guest John Leone from ROAK. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Welcome back. And next to you, first time, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do with the company here?
My name is Adam Lambert, and I'm president of both ROAK and Dark Horse.
And how long you been with ROAK and Dark Horse?
4 days.
4 whole days.
5 days. This is your fifth day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. But I spent 23 years in craft beer, so.
Oh,
Well,
right on.
you know, we've already interviewed John. You can actually go back to episode 22 and get a little bit of information. So we'll start off with you a little bit. Why don't you tell us where did you start working in your history of brewing?
Sure. I started on the brewery side in 1997. Actually, I should go back. I homebrewed my first batch of beer when I was 17 in college, and then worked for a beer wholesaler right after college in 1995 in San Luis Obispo, California. Got my first brewery job in 1997 for Slow Brew, which is still around, one of the oldest brew pubs / breweries in California. Took a little time off and went into the wine business, broker business, and the food business in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And one of my customers on the beer broker side was Rogue Ales out of Newport, Oregon.
We actually had John Mayer on, 2.5 years ago, I believe.
That's cool.
yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yep, he was just randomly in town, and on a Sunday afternoon, we got drunk.
Sounds like John. So I worked for Rogue, running sales and marketing from 2002 to 2008. Then I moved across the country, literally to the other side of the country, and ran sales, VP of sales at Dogfish from 2008 to 2014. Had a great run with Sam, and then moved here to Michigan to be closer to my girlfriend at the time, who's currently my wife, who's also in the beer business. And moved to Holland, Michigan, ran sales there for 14 months. And then moved to Virtue Cider with AB during the acquisition. Did that for 7 months, kind of saw behind the curtain for Anheuser-Busch, which was interesting, and we could probably spend 3 hours, 4 hours. And then went to work for a small family office out of Chicago doing M&A. And we were the company that purchased interest in Deep Ellum in Texas, and then eventually spun that off and sold that to Canarchy. And then during that time period, that 2.5 years in M&A, I did also some consulting. I've worked with Sycamore Brewery out of North Carolina, distillery out of Milwaukee, and then one of my clients was BrewDog. And so I was chief revenue officer for BrewDog from last December through last Friday.
Now, when you mentioned that you were you were helping, like what does it entail when you were saying you were what was the word? Consultant. Thank you. I mean, all I do is I'm picturing him walking in like John Taffer, yelling, "Shut it down." This beer tastes like shit. Shut it down.
My God.
But for those that are not in the restaurant industry, what does a consultant do, and what are you tasked with?
So I've been really fortunate, knock on wood, that I've worked in, I'm not a technical brewer, but I've worked in all aspects of the brewery business. At one point, I was helping run production with another guy over at Dogfish. So I understood throughput from end to finish, from tank to tap, basically. But I wasn't a technical brewer, and I've always been in sales and marketing, too. I've always ran my own budget, so I've kind of had a well-rounded experience on the brewery end of things. So, I could pretty much do just about everything from brewing. So if somebody needs some help on the sales and marketing end, somebody wants help the financial end, operational end. I was working with 6 Point out of New York at one point for about 7-8 months, just reorging their sales team and getting them organized. Central Standard Distillery out of Milwaukee. I was working with their sales and marketing team and a little product development. So basically a little bit of everything other than physically actually brewing and creating creating recipes. I was pretty much doing everything that you can imagine, and everybody needs something different. And even on the financial end, on eventually finding the end buyer to sell on your business too. I worked on that end of it as part of that 6-point transaction with the guys from ABV. So you name it, I've done it. Other than putting beer in tanks.
Well, before we continue a little bit, I want to talk about this beer. So John,
Centani?
Yeah, I think we all got a lot of that Centani. Why? I guess would be my first question.
Do you not like it?
Italian ice kettle. I love it.
It's good.
It's very good.
I didn't say it was bad. I just said why.
Well, I know.
But why?
Well, okay, so to answer the question why, it really started out I wanted to make a beer that tasted like Superman ice cream.
Oh.
And as we talked about it, discussing with our director of brewing, Robert Orler, it was just we were having difficulty reproducing those flavors and really making anything close to tasting like Superman. So I started thinking, well, really, I just like the colors. I was like, I just want to make a beer that tastes like those colors. So I don't know if it was me or Robert or one of us said, well, what about Italian ice? I've had Italian ice and it's like those flavors and those colors. So we went with that, and then Centani is just it's a Italian saying, kind of a salute saying may you live to 100 or 100 years of health, and so we thought that was an appropriate name. It was a name that I kind of had in my back pocket, and then the flavors are the colors: lemon, yellow, raspberry, red, and then blue for blueberry, and I guess that's why.
So there's no 100 number, nothing. Nothing with 100.
You can kind of make it on the can.
I know that, but I'm saying it's not like your 100th beer, or it's not like
no. There's nothing.
100th.
No,
Okay.
there's no anniversary.
Gotcha.
It means
Right.
Centani. It's a saying. So we're Italian owned. Myself
right.
and my two partners, all three of us are 100% Italian, and it's a saying that we throw around.
Okay.
And so
it's a very European thing because
Yeah.
being Italian, obviously I knew Centani, but I'm also Polish, so Stolat, which also means 100 years.
Yeah, so I thought it was just kind of cool and kind of appropriate, and the time to do it. And then, like I said, I really wanted to make a beer that tastes like the colors of Superman, if that makes sense. And so
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it's
I
definitely-
think it tastes like Faygo Red in a way.
It does have that little.
Well, who was the one that made the
little-
Faygo Red at Detroit Beer Fest last year?
I don't even remember.
Because you mentioned Bob Orler. He was over at Brew Detroit for a bit, and
Robert came from Brew Detroit.
yeah, that's what I was saying. So I don't think they made the. It was Traffic Jam and Snug. There you go. I brought it up here real quick. So they made the Faygo Red Pop, the Red Pop Kettle Sour.
Okay.
Yeah, so that wasn't intentional, but my opinion, I don't know what you guys think of it, but I think it tastes like Faygo Red. I don't even like Faygo Red, but I really like this beer.
I love the Faygo Red, but I loved like Italian ice growing up as a kid. That was always the treat
too.
that I could get from my grandma. Be a good kid, and you'll get some Italian ice from the freezer. So I definitely love this beer. I'm not getting too much like of a sour or anything like that. It's not
It's more of a tart.
These are kettle sours. They're not serious sours. They're more gateway sours, and I agree. I mean, when they hear sour, sometimes they shy away. I'm like, do you like sweet tarts? Oh okay, well then drink this because that's what it is.
And that's where I was too. And I believe it was Summer Beer Fest when I was pouring for you guys, and I was going through the beers to just taste them. So I was like, all right, there's this. So just kind of doing a little homework before people started coming up, and then I got to that Watusi Moonshot, and I'm like, shit, here we go with a sour. I was like, okay, and then I took that sip, and I'm like, wait a minute, why does this thing say sour and it's not? Wait a minute, this isn't right. Why do I really like this? This is really, really good. Why? What is going on? And I think that's what it is that the difference between the kettle sour and just, I guess, your usual run-of-the-mill sours that I wasn't educated to until I had Watusi Moonshot. And I said, okay, this, like I said, is a gateway. And it's something where I may not go beyond kettle, but at least there's going to be sours that are going to be out there that I can enjoy. I mean, just like this one, it's like I was trying to figure out where to place the taste on this until you said Faygo Red Pop. And then it was like, yeah, that's pretty much where it is. It's just obviously without all of the sugary carbonation that you get from the can.
I mean, a lot of people were all about that moonshot when we were pouring.
Oh my God, I thought we were going to run out of that.
I know. People were going crazy over
that was very successful. We underestimated the demand. We didn't make enough of that. So it will be back this fall, but that's caramel apple. Granny Smith really was.
Yeah,
love it.
And it's got that caramel in there also. That was a heck of a beer. Really,
absolutely.
Robert did a great job on
yeah,
that.
Absolutely. Oh, I need another. Do we have another can?
We have another can.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Hold on. I'll get
I was
another.
about to say, they did bring a lot.
I think
There's a 4-pack over here.
Oh, there is.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm
Oh
ready
boy.
There you
Yep.
go.
There we go.
Now, before
Thank
we
you.
continue, you
Lord.
guys currently bought Dark Horse.
Yes.
Straight up, are you keeping the brewery there? Like, what's the process that's happening post your purchase of Dark Horse? Keeping the beer recipes, changing it up. Like, what is Dark Horse 2021 looking like?
Well, we are keeping the brewery.
Okay.
And we are definitely keeping the recipes, and actually, I mean, the goal is to maintain the independence and the individuality of the two breweries, ROAK and Dark Horse. Cool. There are some synergies. There's a shared management team, shared sales force, but that doesn't mean that we want to dilute ROAK or in its identity or dilute Dark Horse. So we're going to work real hard on doing that. So they're individual breweries. We're actually, I think Adam came up with this name. I'm trying to remember what the name is. Michigan Brewers Union. Yeah. So that's our name that we're going to eventually have over, the two breweries, and it's kind of like a. We think other people can join us, maybe.
It sounds like a Jolly Pumpkin, North Peak, Grizzly Peak, because they have the
Northern United
over them.
Is
that kind of what?
Same concept.
Yeah,
same concept. Yeah,
kind of the thing that I was thinking with in terms of getting Dark Horse, and creating this union. That what other breweries are going to fall under this umbrella? Because it's almost like 5 years down the road, or maybe even 3 years down the road, that you guys are eventually trying to create your own canarchy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're trying to create it, but the reality of the industry is it's very competitive. There's a lot of breweries out there. It is tough, guys. Yes. I mean, it is so difficult to succeed, and just by getting together, you start to have synergies and critical mass and all the things that you need to be successful. We are not backed by, AB type money, not or some PE group. It's us, and we just know, by getting together, we have that critical mass. We can be, and it allows us to be successful, to have profit, to reinvest in our business, which is a good. My dad always told me, profit's not a dirty word. Yeah, you need that profit to reinvest in people, into R&D, and all kinds of things to keep the business moving forward. So we definitely are open to talking to anybody if it makes sense. But right now we got our hands full. We've got to make this successful. I wouldn't. Adam's a guy that I've known for 10 years or so, and always admired him and thought that he was special. And I've been after Adam probably for at least 3 or 4 years at ROAK, but it wasn't enough for Adam, and I understood that. But he agreed about a year ago to sit on our board, and that was really my plan to eventually get him on board.
Adam's laughing over here.
And so when the Dark Horse opportunity presented itself, I hounded him, and he said no every time to the opportunity. I'm like, come on, man, you got to come run this. This is perfect for you. It's you. This is your opportunity to really shine. Not that he hasn't already shined, but really to run it. You're the man. You're running this whole thing. I could argue he ran some other breweries too, but and so he turned me down consistently for about 3-4 days, and then one day he called me up.
It's like a bad dating story.
I was actually, yeah. But I did get a call one day, and I was actually driving back from Marshall. We were working on getting a deal done, and he said he was in, and so I absolutely accepted his offer. His offer. And said,
Gotcha.
let's do it, man. Or I guess he accepted my offer, and I was just
Right.
So. I think I think Adam's a difference maker. He's a primetime player, if you will, and I think why are we going to be successful? It's the management team, and then everybody else involved. It's the people. There's so much heart at Dark Horse. I can't tell you how special the folks are at Dark Horse. There's no words that I can use to describe the commitment, the passion of the folks there. They are special people. I mean. Dark Horse had some challenges. They fell on hard times. They didn't abandon ship. They stayed there. They believe in the brewery. They love the brewery, and they're all part of it. And that's the difference to me. That's what makes Dark Horse special. If anybody listening, and you need to know anything about Dark Horse, it's the people. It's the folks making the beer, running that restaurant. They're like I said, I can't describe it. There's no way I can put it into words how special and committed and just wonderful they are. So if you love Dark Horse beer, it's here because of them still. The reason it's still around. It's not me. It's not Adam. It's them. They kept it going.
One of the things we noticed as a show, because we have been doing this for 4+ years now, Dark Horse's best year was around 2015, right after the TV show was over on the History Channel, I think, or A&E, or
one of the
Travel Channel.
Yeah, I think it's Travel.
Somewhere in that grouping of TV channels. But they've kind of, I think they are the proof of the inconsistency of the craft beer fan. I think a lot of people kind of jumped ship when more beer was available everywhere. Dark Horse, you could get anywhere. You could get it at Walmart. This is my opinion. You could call me a dumbass if you want to. That's perfectly fine. I get it enough on Facebook. But when you have the capability of one, there are so many more breweries that you can attend to now. Yep. Locally, too, you're fighting for SKUs. I mean, do you know off the top of your head how many SKUs you guys have in shelves right now?
Not a lot. I mean, we probably have... There's 2 core brands at Dark Horse. There's Crooked Tree and Raspberry Ale. Those are the 2, the 80-20 rule, if you will. Yeah. And then they have a few other beers that do quite well. And then they have one iconic beer, although I'd argue that Crooked Tree is iconic. But yeah, they have Plead the Fifth.
Plead the Fifth, yeah. I was gonna say.
It's a special beer. But I don't know SKUs on the shelf. I really don't know. But it's not as... I mean, there was a lot of SKUs.
Oh, hold on. Maybe I should just ask the president.
Yeah, if there's anybody that's intimate with those numbers right now, it is Adam.
Well, I mean, Adam, you've been traveling the country working. You saw, the craft beer drought of, the early 2000s when a lot of breweries went away. What do you see as the changes of everything right now? Because one thing we are always worried about is where is the limit? Where is the max? Where are things going? And, John, you were in distro for 20 years prior to...
My whole career prior to being in the brewing business.
So you guys have been, you were a side of the business, you were in the business. What do you see upcoming as your hurdles for ROAK and Dark Horse? Because you guys have a huge capability of growth. You guys are 20,000 barrel tap rooms. I think on our show, because I re-listened to the show, episode 22
production facilities. We probably have 50,000 barrels capacity. It's insane.
Yeah,
between the 2 facilities.
Do you know what your number is?
And that's not we could put that many fermenters in this room. No, I'm telling you, it's built out to do that. We could do it. But I'll defer to Adam on
what is your goal? You know, you're not going to do it tomorrow. You're not going to turn on all the bright tanks and, you know, start brewing 50,000 barrels in a year and sell it all. What's the plan? What's the goal? Where do you see the future of craft beer, you know, 2021, 2025?
I wish I had an answer. I wouldn't be sitting here.
There's no
Dang.
I don't even know if there really is any.
That's super deep. No, I can give you my personal perspective for doing it so long.
Well, that's all I want. Yeah.
And having gone through the mid '90s where I couldn't get arrested selling the craft beer, to the 2000s, mid 2000s where like Sam could put magic in a bottle and create something for Dogfish, to where we are today. So, there's 8,000 breweries out there, right? You've got to have a message, you got to have the liquid, and you got to resonate with the consumer, retailer, and the wholesaler. And I think there's a giant piece that probably 7,500, maybe 7,800 breweries miss, which is you got to understand how to run through the 3-tiered system, specifically business plans for the wholesalers, and or being able to get within a wholesaler. You can only self-distribute so much beer at the end of the day. I mean, it's just too labor-intensive. You can make a great living doing 3,000 to 5,000 barrels as a 2-3 man show, self-distribution. But if you want to grow your business and you want to stay in business, you got to understand how to participate within the wholesaler world. And I think the breweries that get that piece of it will survive. And then you're going to get a bunch of breweries that are going to survive on self-distribution, and then you're going to own a bunch of bars with a brew system. And so I think, the guys that want to grow and want to stay in the business and want to be a full-blown production facility and want to ride the wave till 2025 need to understand how to go to market, how to write business plans, how to work within the wholesaler network. And then the guys that just want to do 3,000 to 10,000 and want to be local or semi-statewide, sure, they can do that. And then the guys that literally want to be a bar with a brew system, because that's really what it is, and you can see the statistics.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
So I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to be in segments. They're going to be the guys that can survive self-distribution. You're going to be a bar with a brew system, and then you're going to have the guys that can, leave the building and have the right business plans. Back in the, when I went to Dogfish in 2008, we were 58,000 barrels. I left in 2014, we were 235,000 barrels.
Jesus Christ.
And so, in an 8-year period or a 7-year period, to be able to do that anymore, you can't. And back in those days, any wholesaler was just clamoring, and, that's really how I met John, hey, we want your brand. Nowadays, the distributors
seem to be begging a lot.
A little bit.
This is not a dating podcast. I keep saying, John, quit it.
Oh, boy.
Here at beermatch.com.
You're onto something.
Hold on, let me go to GoDaddy real quick.
Yeah, good. Yeah, set it up.
Oh, John's already got it.
Buy it.
But I mean, that's what I see. I mean, it's really the guys that will survive, that want to grow and be bigger volume, have got to have an incredible business plan and work within the wholesaler network. They got to continue to innovate, and they've also got to have the right message to engage the consumer.
I think that's probably like the most thought out answer to that question by anyone that we've ever had on this show.
So two things. One, beer match is $2,000. Not going to happen.
No.
Hold on, we can all whip around. How much
But you're ready. Instead of match.com, match.beer is only $40.
Let's go for it.
5, 8.
Oh,
Yeah, we can
do that.
As long as you're running the show and we can, ride on your tailcoats, man.
We'll basically just set it up like eHarmony. It's like you set up your beer styles and your flavors and your, all of that, and then we'll just match you based on your beer style.
There you go.
What do you see in the state of Michigan that is a problem in the beer world? Because you said you've worked over in the West Coast, the East Coast. You were in BrewDog, which is both foreign / Ohio. What do you see in Michigan that would be a great change for whether it's your business or the industry as a whole?
I'm going to come truthful here. I'm married to a wholesaler, so I got to be really careful here. I hope she listens to this later and not right now.
Slowly walk the tightrope.
Yeah.
Slowly Walk the tightrope.
I don't. Here's my politically correct. I don't see problems. I see opportunities.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one thing that's always driven me crazy, and this is so superficial, but line cleaning. Just about every other state, it's pretty methodical, and it's pretty much done by the wholesale network. And it's almost a competition, right? The wholesaler that can get in there and clean more lines gets more lines. Mm-hmm. Right here, it's done. It's either third party or done by the guy that owns a bar, and if they're not super sophisticated in beer or don't care as much as they should, or their guy that's a third party is there once a month or every 60 days. I think that's a little bit of an opportunity to be better. And I argue about this all the time, where wholesale goes into Kroger and Meijer and merchandises, and it's a very expensive cost of goods and a cost of labor for those guys, but they can't go in and clean tap lines. So I think there's an opportunity there.
They can't or they don't, because that's two different.
I think legally they can't.
I think it might be a legal issue.
Yeah, legal issue, yeah.
Yeah, because in Ohio, you see that. I was just down in Ohio to do that beer festival, Glass City, and I met a few of the line cleaners, if you will, and I followed them on Instagram, and they are bragging to till the cows come home about all the places they cleaned today, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And now hearing you shows that this is actually a thing that we don't have in Michigan.
I mean, and I've been lucky. I mean, I've done business in all 50 states, so I see all different models, and I understand why it doesn't happen here, and I know it's a legal issue, but it's just something. I look at it that if my wholesaler was in there cleaning lines and they were that much more valuable to the retailer, they would get more business. So I think that's a challenge.
Well, this is a question for both of you, because obviously bad lines, especially when you're going to bars and everything, that not only affects your product, but people's opinion of your product. There is, we won't name names, but there was a local bar that I knew that just didn't clean their lines, because I've tasted Atwater Dirty Blonde there, and I've tasted Atwater Dirty Blonde at the source, and it's two completely different beers. And you could tell they don't clean the lines, they mix the lines with different styles. And, there's a reason. Well, I used to go there all the time for really dirt cheap Guinness too. So
okay, I know what you're talking about.
40 ounces of Guinness for $3. I don't care what it tastes like. I'm getting drunk.
Yeah.
But how do you, and this is definitely for you too, because on the distro side too, when you're trying to sell beers and you're going to a place that doesn't clean the line, as a brewer, you're pissed because then your beer is going to taste worse. But, how do you manage that type of relationship with that bar? You can't just cut them off because you don't want to cut off sales.
No, you wouldn't cut them off. I mean, you just try to educate them and just try to. I mean, the honesty is probably the way to handle it, and just say that if you would clean your lines, you'd have a better beer. And really, as a restaurateur, which we are. You want your customers to be happy. You want them to have a great experience. And if they're drinking a Atwater Dirty Blonde and it tastes like French Toast Devil Dog, that's not a great experience for them. So you just try to educate them, because some people aren't educated. It's not that they don't want their customers to be unhappy. So
I'm kind of interested in a cinnamon Dirty Blonde now.
Centani Blonde.
You should,
I should Randall it.
You should Randall it, or you should go talk to Atwater.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a collaboration with Mark.
Yeah.
But I think honesty is always the best way to handle something when you're dealing with a customer. Just be honest with them. Hey, you could have a better product, and so. I mean, I that's what I feel bad for, is the consumer, the person that's the beer lover that's drinking this beer and they're not getting what we want them to get. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's really interesting is if you're sitting there and you taste the beer and it doesn't taste like what it should, and you just ask the bartender, or even if the owner's there, hey, can you take a little cocktail napkin and shove it up the tap, and it comes back, and usually, quite honestly, you can see something on the white napkin, right?
Right.
A little bit of, whatever it may be that's been sitting there. So it's just kind of like, hey, do you see this? It's causing an off flavor in our beer. And I think you would have a better experience for your consumers if you cleaned your tap lids a little more.
And as long as they are receptive to that, because it always, and not necessarily always, but then it's kind of what are you doing? Telling me how to run my place.
You can't be an asshole about it.
No, you can't be an asshole about it.
But sometimes people just take it as such.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're an asshole.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can be picky on. I mean, even like a long line, if you got a 30, 40-foot run, 100-foot run, then you got that beer sitting there overnight, and it gets stale, and you got to run it out. I mean, we can be picky, but my thoughts are on Michigan. I think Michigan's awesome. I think there's some amazing breweries, but it's competitive, and we're not afraid to compete. We want to compete. And we're not saying it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because the breweries are frankly, they're magical. I mean, Bell's, Founders, and some of them are backed by big money now. So they're not only magical in the beer that they make, but they have a lot of money, so they can market and do a lot of things that are needed to be successful. So I just think you got to work really hard. You have to have people like Adam and Robert and our whole management team. Because it's all about the people, in my opinion, and you could be successful in this market, but it's not going to be easy. Michigan's not Michigan. I mean, Michigan has great beer. It really does. We should feel really lucky to have the beer. If there's anything that kind of bothers me sometimes is I'm a fellow beer lover. I like to drink other beers, not just ROAK or Dark Horse, and it's that we don't appreciate what we have here, I think, sometimes. I think we're really critical of breweries. I don't think it's necessarily the most productive thing, and it's difficult for the breweries. It's they take it hard, especially these brewers are working really hard. They're trying to be creative. I'm a sports fan, and I we can't just keep running the ball 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We have to throw the ball downfield. We have to take some shots. And if we take these, if we keep getting, armchair quarterback on Monday that, oh, hey, you made this beer and it's horrible. That's the worst thing ever. Well, you know what? We're trying. Yeah. We want to try to be innovative. We want to keep trying to do. We know that not everything's going to be great, but we want to try. And, maybe we hit on some things. And our goal is to make you happy. I mean, we're just dogs. Dogs. Your dog wants to make you happy. That's what it wants to do.
All dog wants to do.
And a dog just wants to make its owner happy, and that's all we want to do. We want to make the craft beer lover happy. So, if there's anything that sometimes bothers me, and I'm just getting this off my chest, is how critical people sometimes are, and how really mean they can be. And these people are working hard. We're trying to be creative. We're trying to do some different stuff, and we know we're not perfect. And some breweries are better than other breweries, frankly, and we understand that. We're always striving to be better. But I'm not going to stop throwing the ball. I like to run the ball too. We know we have to have those core brands that, we have to control the clock. But we're going to throw the ball. We're going to throw it deep sometimes. And, we threw it deep. I mean, we have a mint milkshake IPA.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I'm cracking that one.
I can't wait to have that.
That's going to be what, during the next break? Or the next break?
That's so far, we read the reviews, I read the reviews, and that's a polarizing beer. I mean,
my favorite was don't like the mint.
Wait, that was a review?
Was that on Untapped?
It's on
Is
Untapped.
that
I
a
just,
review?
Don't like
we're gonna have
the
to read
good
that
thing,
later.
the good thing is it's a series of milkshake IPAs, and we will make some without mint. But we'll probably offend some people with some of the flavors and some of the other beers. But I mean, we're not going to. We're like I said, we're going to throw that ball. We're going to throw that ball as far as we can throw it, and we're going to keep trying. And I actually, I'm the guy that said let's make a mint milkshake. I wasn't sure I liked it, but I actually like it.
There's a lot of things that are different.
After I came to terms with the fact that I chew gum that's mint flavored and I like the way it tastes. I brush my teeth and it's mint flavored. There's a lot of things that have that mint flavor and I really enjoy them. and I just said, why not in a beer? And I really enjoy it. I enjoy it. But it and why, by the way, it's not fun if it doesn't create discussion. That's why you drink a bottle of wine. That's why you drink beer with your friends or your significant other or a bourbon or whatever it is. It's about the discussion. It's about the wonderful conversation that you had around that beverage.
Yeah.
And you might harken back to that conversation for years and years and years to come. So that's why I like throwing the ball deep, because I want to talk about this mint milkshake and what your thoughts were. And even if it was the worst idea ever and nobody liked it, you had a good discussion and something memorable came out of it. But I think you're going to like this beer.
Is it with lactose? You got lactose?
There's
in there?
lactose.
All right,
in
good.
it.
Good. I like lactose in
All
beer.
right.
It's like what Bruce Arians says: "No risk it, no biscuit."
Okay, Bruce.
That was like therapy for John right there.
I had to get that off my chest. I feel
so much
much
better.
better.
Oh, man, the relationship, man.
So,
You're picking up on
now
that.
that John's got that off his chest, we are going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Better on Draft Podcast. And we're back. Episode 210, Better on Draft Podcast. Still in studio with us, Adam and John.
Haven't scared him away.
No, not yet. Not yet.
We're working on
So much mint coming off of this right now.
it. You're drinking the mint milkshake?
Yes.
IPA?
Don't
Haven't-
wind.
haven't
John's
Don't like
in a
mint,
good
1
space
star.
right now. Don't wind him up.
I mean,
What?
Oh my gosh.
While
I'm
we're
surprised we only passed around one can when there's like a bajillion.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't get
You
any
know
of
what?
the mint either.
Get up. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Oh my
just-
god, it's like taking like mint leaves and chewing on them. Oh, this is crazy.
And the thought
This is
behind it is,
crazy,
it's
man.
March, it's St. Patty's month, and the series of beer. There's gonna be a series of these, and they're kind of celebration beers around holidays or more celebration holidays. Although there is,
I think the mint kind of mellows out the bitter and dryness of the hops. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of play nice together.
it kind of adds like a little citrusy flavor to it.
I think for me, it depends.
John, I like an IPA you made.
that alone that is the reason we made this.
Record it.
We wanted you to like IPA.
210th episode. You heard it live.
That's going to Smithsonian right
That
there.
is going in
Holy
the
shit.
Hall of Fame of Better on Draft.
I guess
Ken reminded me when I walked in here. He's like, "Remember when you called me a pussy?"
to which
That's been circulating on our
and
on our
talks or
Slack
whatever.
channel.
And yeah, for anybody, there's a couple people that are on the Better on Draft live chat right now, and one of the people who did comment on there commented with, basically question for John: is Ken still a pussy?
Apparently not. He likes
How
an
come
IPA.
I don't see this message.
Courtesy of Dan. Well done, man.
oh, Dan.
Of
Dan
course,
asked it.
of course. And actually, I think he asked that like right when we started, so
okay.
it was he already had it in his head.
Hey, John, is Ken still a pussy?
But I'm taking a sip right now, and it's for me. I'm kind of thinking like, as far as minty gums, you're either a spearmint person or a wintergreen person. And no, you save that for candy canes, and still that stays on the tree. I don't touch the peppermint. And like for me, I am a spearmint person, and it just like it's like all of that. It's like that spearmint taste that's coming off of it.
I'm the same as you. I love it.
Yeah, and it is like we were talking before in the first segment that it's going for things that are different. And it's like you're not going to do anything different if you don't swing the bat. And there's not a lot of. I mean, there's obviously we have a lot of breweries that are out there, but we don't have that I know of doing a mint milkshake, doing an Italian ice kettle sour, doing a caramel apple kettle sour, and these are different things that are very interesting to try. For me, I kind of feel like this would be kind of like a one can enjoy and just like kind of save the rest for like another day. So I'm not sure
like a
how much.
sipper.
I'm not sure how much mint I could actually take. And
I could do this all night.
You could?
Wow, an
Really?
IPA all night?
Get out of here.
Holy shit.
Wait, who are you?
It's
What have you done with Ken?
First of all, I'm sure when we crack open the blow your face out, everyone's gonna get pissed at me again. So let's just
get ready for the name calling.
yeah.
I mean,
let's just get it. What we're talking about the mint, but as beer changes and things change, Dark Horse is gonna change. Things are gonna be different. Things are gonna be the same. Talk to us about what is going to what is gonna happen over at Dark Horse. What are some things that people have said that maybe you need to clear the air about too, because there's a lot, and we'll go into it a little bit later about the right brain falling out, because everyone said they bought Dark Horse, oh well they just bought right brain. I'm like, oh, that didn't go through. So let's try to clear the air about some things that are true, some things that are not, and get everyone on the same page.
Well, I'll answer some of that, and then I'll let Adam handle some of that because he's worked real hard on some of the beer end of things.
Okay.
But I mean, the one that to me that I have to answer, though I think people know, we are not getting rid of the mug program, the mug club at Dark Horse. It's been incredibly successful. It's loved by many. We are not getting rid of that.
Mug club stays, folks.
Stays the same. Nothing changes. In fact, I think we're
Bring your mugs back.
Yeah, we're bringing. There's some folks that took their mugs because they thought it was going away. Heck, bring them back. We don't care. We don't. There's no reason to not let you bring it back. That's been another thing. It's been said that we won't let them bring their mugs back. Of course we will. Bring your mugs back. Beer's too fun to hold grudges. And the other thing is festivals. People have asked, we still have the festivals. We are. And we're going to expand on the festivals. We're going to have more festivals. We're going to enhance the festivals. We really want to give back. We want to partner with the community. We want to, with a craft brewery, at a town like Marshall, and any town really, it's really the town's brewery, and so we want to reach out to the community and do whatever we can, which is done by Dark Horse in the past. We just want to continue that and maybe even expand on it. But as far as the beer goes, Adam, you want to kind of talk about that because there's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I think I've been really fortunate to have watched Dark Horse because it's been almost at the same timeline as my career. So I've been watching Dark Horse for a long time, and Dark Horse had the TV show at the same time that Dogfish Head had their TV show.
Oh, that's right. Because Sam went to Egypt or some shit. I remember that one.
Yeah, I puked in a trash can when I was chewing corn for one of Chicha.
Wait, was that on the TV show?
Yeah, I've got a couple of great cameos.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to.
What channel was that on?
That was Discovery.
Okay,
Brewmasters. Yeah, it's on I think iTunes. Yeah, I got 2 great cameos thrown up in a trash can, and then our quality department swabbing my mouth and telling me it was for a drug test, and I basically about fell out of my chair, and I was watching that episode with my parents. So that was pretty much thinking probably a druggie, but no, I've watched Dark Horse, and so I've seen them. I've seen the brand. I've seen what it was at its peak and where it has been, and John and I have talked a long time about this whole project and about the purchase and resurrecting the spirit of Dark Horse, which is what we're calling it at this point. We've got to fill the pipeline and get back to getting our day in day out beer to the market. Raspberry, Crooked Tree, Boffer Brown, Amber, Black beer. They've been shorting the market, quite honestly, for a few months, and so getting the everyday beers back to where they need to be. Kind of taking a little bit of a look back into what really worked for Dark Horse, and they were innovators before innovation was cool. So going back and looking at the portfolio and seeing the things that really had some great following and were cult beers, and maybe they just kind of got forgotten or lost. So using that as a little bit of innovation or creativity and a little bit of history, and going back into the books and looking for that. Taking Crooked Tree and maybe using that as a creative ground for our brewers, and starting a Crooked Tree franchise and being able to let our brewers come to the table who I think have been stifled for a little bit in terms of their level of creativity. So we're going to work with the brewers on bringing some iterations of Crooked Tree to market. with some of the things that they've done in the past, which have been smaller batches but have been successful in the tap room. We're going to ramp up our barrel aging program, plead the fifth, barrel age plead the fifth, some barrel age variations of plead the fifth, and some variations of regular plead the fifth. We just bought 230 odd 250 Heaven Hill barrels. We're going to reappropriate an entire part of our warehouse in the back building of Dark Horse and really ratchet back up the barrel program. We're going to take 4 Elf and really kind of recreate that and reimagine that. Again, both plead the fifth and 4 Elf will be towards the end of the year. But really come out with 4 different variations and iterations of 4 Elf. And again, going back to what Dark Horse was really known for, we're going to come out with some big, robust, we talked about today, some high ABV, maybe some barley wine style, maybe think old ale, think, you know, maybe like a brewery that maybe I worked for that had a very high ABV IPA, well, 120. Think about taking 4 Elf to the moon, so to speak, and that's really what we want to do there. And then, you know, use those as our linchpins to get through 2020, and then start the process on 2021 in terms of what the portfolio looks like for next year in June and July. So really, quite honestly, stabilize the core beers that work for today's consumer and today's account level. Bring back some of the esoteric, innovative, you know, beer aficionado beers. Let our brewmaster, our brewers, and our brew team in production from top to bottom all the way. We brought the entire brew team together, maintenance, operations, brewing. Let them come together and bring some innovation to the marketplace and to some of our beers. And then we've also kicked around about maybe going after that new consumer out there that's kind of the healthy lifestyle consumer too. So maybe looking at, you know, think maybe a
what do we call it today? A
little hazy or hazy little tree?
No, juicy. Little juicy tree. I think that's
is
what
that
we
what we hazy juice?
Literally, some of this was finalized three hours ago.
One question I have is ROAK has this, you know, you guys went through a rebrand with your logo and everything, your artwork and stuff. Is there going to be one for Dark Horse?
Yeah, we've actually already started it.
Okay.
Matt Ebbing, the Ebbing Group out of Wilmington, North Carolina. We've engaged them to rebrand. I don't want to say rebrand. It's not going to be a complete rebrand.
Refresh.
It's a refresh because Dark Horse has, you know, kind of an iconic feel to it, and we don't want a total departure from that, but we do want to enhance it. So I think Adam and I we're expecting to see something like in a week, some initial sketches or drawings or concepts.
Would you guys call what ROAK did a rebrand?
ROAK was a rebrand. So ROAK's original packaging completely sucked. And that was
your words.
Well, it was. Listen, I had everything to do with it. I've said this a number of times, so I feel like it's no big deal for me to tell myself that sucked. So this we had to start over, and we did, and I think I love it. I love our branding. I think it came out great.
But you're saying for the other one, it's a refresh.
A refresh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I think you never know. Listen, I did this with ROAK. You start down the path, and you think it's gonna look like this, and then it doesn't. I mean, it's in fact there was about 5 options on ROAK. This was the one that everybody was kind of afraid of, except for me. I was like, no, we're going to do this shit. I mean, that's completely different. That probably could sell some beer.
Sure.
I didn't want to I just didn't want like a friendly, this is nice. I mean, that was just a total rebrand. And so you don't know. I mean, that's what we think we're going to do with Dark Horse, but Ebbing and his team, they're so talented that you have to keep an open mind and take the blinders off and just let them do their thing. So the thoughts are that it's going to be a refresh, but you never know.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
We have the opportunity with like creating a Crooked Tree franchise to kind of spin off into a different direction in terms of what the branding looks like to a certain extent. We don't have to follow that same model. So there's an opportunity to refresh, but there's an opportunity, quote unquote, to rebrand some of the beers too that aren't currently in mainstream production. So I think it's, we got soft gloves on the project. We don't want to change everything all at once.
So a message from the chat, a question. Cassidy Hart asks, will you be having the 4 Elf party?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
We're going to have that party, and we're going to try to throw the best possible 4 Elf party we can throw. Yeah, we're going to really we're going to invest in it. We're going to put a lot of time and effort, and hopefully we'll put our thinking caps on and hopefully have the best 4 Elves party ever.
There you go.
Before we kind of continue, I want to take it back a little bit. Adam, you're going home. You open the fridge. What's the beer you're grabbing? Not from tonight, because obviously you
brought it all tonight.
I'm a promiscuous drinker. I mean, I really drink across all across the spectrum. I mean, again, I'm married to a beer wholesaler, who has an incredible portfolio, and then I also have a wide array of beers that I enjoy. I know right now. Last night I had a couple of Check to the Heads. I've got an Overworks by BrewDog in there that just got released that I'll probably tackle tonight. I know I'm taking home some Centani and Milkshake, and quite honestly, my wife and I'll crack that milkshake, the mint milkshake, and just kind of, I think we're just talking about having one and seeing what happens. So tonight I'll definitely be drinking ROAK, but I kind of drink all over across the board, quite honestly.
What about you, John? What's when we listened to the show last time, you were talking about stumbling home from North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan, just off of Baseline Road over on Center Street.
Gotta drop it in there at some point.
Hey, we got to work it some way.
Yep.
What's in your fridge now?
There's 2 cans. We were at our wholesaler rave, and Jim Britton gave me it's an Irish beer. It's an Irish craft. Is it a craft brewery? Was that say, or is it classic?
Hamilton, the old brewer from Guinness.
Sullivan is the name of the beer, and it's so I'm kind of looking forward to drinking those. I haven't had them yet. What else is in there beer wise? Here's what I can tell you. I talk very diverse. I am a total IPA guy. I like to fuck myself into thinking that I like a lot of different styles of beer, but yet I always find myself drinking an IPA. So blow your face out. I mean, I love that beer. It's my favorite beer that we make.
Open next.
I enjoyed the mint IPA. I like stouts. I do like barrel-aged stouts. The one that we had today from
the
barrel-aged.
Oh, that's not a
the
stout.
behemoth?
Actually, that's
a
a
barley wine.
That's a barley wine,
Barley
but
wine.
it's
I was gonna
amazing.
say, yeah, that
Can
was.
you pass it over here, please?
So I like barrel-aged beers, but I mean I'm an IPA guy. I love IPA.
What now? You guys, what I like to say, came out of the New England craze with a beer that stayed. Flavorful 5 is still you guys make it still. You guys sell it. They're not. Everyone had one, and then it kind of all faded away. What was your opinion on that New England craze, and what do you think is the next big thing? I don't think anything will ever reach mass peak of New England craze, because I think right now it's the seltzers. Are you guys making a seltzer right now?
No, we don't have enough money to compete in that market, man. I mean, that's Bud Light. That's
well, there's.
You see Corona just came out with one?
Yeah,
I didn't see Corona came out with the
just
seltzer.
came out with a hard seltzer.
There's a few.
It just scares me. I mean, we only have so many resources and so much money, and we got to be really smart with it. And we're not. I'm not saying we're even smart enough to be really smart with it, but we try. But to go after that market and go head to head with AB and you got Sam Adams.
Well, not even necessarily in distro, but what about in-house?
Oh, in-house, I think it's a great idea. We've talked about that, but we kind of think our kettle sours kind of also kind of fit that mold. But I think we should do one in-house. We've talked about it. We just had we've had our hands kind of full, and we're just now starting to dial in and settle in. And Adam and his team, they're incredible. There's a lot of really neat stuff going on with them. There's a lot of brain power. They're very talented, and I think there's going to be some great things coming out of ROAK and Dark Horse. I mean, really, ROAK too. Talking back about some comments that somebody made a comment about ROAK, and this is okay, man. Listen, we expect to be, we should be criticized at the highest level. We're out there, we're putting ourselves out. Go ahead, criticize us. We're big boys. We should be able to handle it. But somebody had mentioned, but at the same time, we should be able to correct things. Somebody had said, well, ROAK, they never brew any new beers. ROAK just came out in the last 18 months with 6 brand new kettle sours, a variant of Devil Dog French Toast. In the last 2 years, 3 New Englands, Flavorful 5, Hopgazer, Zenyatta, Session New England, and now we have 4 milkshakes coming out. So, I mean, for a brewery not coming out with new beers, we sure do come out with
a lot of
new beers.
Yeah, we had Hopgazer on when Chuck and Aaron were on.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it. So that's 1.5 for 2 right now. Are you guys still
sure you're not trick fucking yourself?
Oh, I'm sure.
I like that phrase. I'm gonna trick fuck myself.
One day maybe I'll start going through videos knowing where we had IPAs, because there's a camera right here, right in front of me, that gets that bitter, taste. I did it.
Face.
I felt so bad. We had the owner or the head brewer of Kickstand on. And
the new guy?
Good
Axel?
No,
And not Adam?
Not Adam. Annette May's husband. I'm blanking on his name, and I feel so bad right now.
You got hit with the combo.
Yeah,
You drank that.
I had it, and just my face, and he saw my face go bad, and I'm like, it's not my thing. But I understand my palate. I understand what I like. One of the things that I started to understand a little bit more is I started to understand what hops I prefer and what malt build that I prefer when it comes to not only IPAs, but ambers. I went on a huge tour of Seattle, and I should say northern Seattle. This is like my 7th trip to Seattle in the last 8 months. And I hit up Woodinville, Kirkland, and Kenmore. And I was drinking ambers up there. And I had some of the best ambers I've ever had at some of these breweries. And then it ended. I went to a brewery called Good Brewing because one person told me to go there. It was the head brewer of 9 Yards. And then I met a couple at Crucible, and they told me to go to Good Brewing. Both of them told me, and they said they have an alt beer there that you have to try. And I'm like, oh, do you know me or do you know me?
Of course.
Yeah.
I went up there, had the alt beer, and I was in heaven. Like they, for being a West Coast beer, West Coast town, you expect a lot of IPAs, which I saw plenty of them. But having that malt build, that malt I slammed the French toast Devil Dog over here.
Don't worry, we have tons more.
We have plenty.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. But I just don't like a hop forward beer. They had a lot of American browns up there. 3 of the breweries that I went to had American browns, not English browns, and American, which are a hop forward brown ale. And I tried all of them, didn't like any of them. But again, understanding that has allowed me to understand what I like. And being on the show, obviously I'm going to try everything that gets thrown in front of me. But I don't know where I was going on this tangent.
I think what you're trying to say is you have a very sophisticated palate.
Oh, bullshit. I have a palate that I understand, not
He's starting to
sophisticated.
come into
I
his-
understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a difference here.
You mentioned an alt beer. I mean, one of the things with Dark Horse that we
You're going to brew an alt beer? Can you call
No.
it Ken's alt?
No, we're not an alt beer. Not that I know of. And maybe we will, but we are. We went back and said, we went to the brewers, we went to sales people, customers, and what are some of the beers and that maybe from the past that you liked? And one of them was Percolator.
Percolator, yeah.
Maybe Adam, you can tell them. So that's coming back. That's
That'll be a fall, winter seasonal.
and that's a
That hasn't been made for a while, 2-3 years.
What is that?
Doppelbock.
I love being able to try. I actually, at Triple Horn, had their ESB, You rarely see an ESB on draft, and it was, again, a really good beer. And I think a lot of people get scared by the ESB name still. That's what we saw. Matt mentioned it about a year ago. Like, Saugatuck just changed the name of their ESB because nobody was buying it. And the second they changed the name and nobody knew what it was, they're like, oh, we'll try it. Oh, it's pretty good.
No, it was still on at because I was at Farmington last week, and they had just ESB. It doesn't seem like anybody was touching it.
We had an ESB
a
couple months ago. It did okay. It was just tap room only.
That's what built Red Hook up where you were.
Oh, Red
Woodinville.
Hook.
Yeah,
Ooh,
the
goodness.
ESB.
Yeah.
And it was infected too, and they everybody loved the flavor on it, so they left it like that. and Red Hook left the building at 300,000 barrels of it.
Is it easy to purposely infect beer?
It's easy to purposely do it, but I mean to do it consistently the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm like,
these sours. That's what a sour is. It's just
Consistently infecting it.
Lactobacillus.
Hashtag science. Like,
if I
Hashtag
say one
college.
thing about one thing with this the mint IPA, we always do R&D on these beers, and one thing that Robert, our director of brewing, he was like, we have to use some noble hops. Excuse me, some noble hops. Because it was the typical citrus of the world, and so they were clashing with the mint. So he put Challenger, Crystal, Equinox, which is not a noble hop, but it's a kind of a savory hop. It's a very interesting hop, and then there is Amarillo in there. But I thought, if you tasted those early batches, there was a lot of fighting going on between the mint and the citrus aroma and flavors from the hops. And he did a great job, and I think that's kind of unique that there's some of these older noble hops in this IPA.
one thing I just got to say is whoever writes your descriptions hits a nail on the head. I don't know who's writing these, but as a writer,
Actually, this one, well, my wife helps. She corrects the grammar and all that kind of stuff. But this one, I think this was a combination of, and by the way, I'm virtually illiterate when it comes to writing shit. But but I'm pretty good with words. This one was me and Al Silveri, he's our director of restaurant operations. He runs both restaurants. He's pretty good with it. So I think Al and I did this one.
I mean, the smooth, pillowy mouthfeel.
Yeah,
that's me.
It hits it. It hits.
It's there. It's
there. It's accurate.
And just like after kind of finishing mine, it just feels like it's not just kind of just that one and done. I think I could actually just enjoy a second one.
Another one.
I don't think it's a one and done at all.
I don't think.
I actually think it's very crushable in the summer. We won't be out in the summertime.
Yeah.
But this beer in the summertime would be money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like anytime in the grocery store, I'm out of gum, I'm reaching for spearmint, and this like, I mean, it almost
You're
just
out of
feels
beer?
like I'm out of beer. Hey, it kills 2 stones.
Do you think you could? You're the man, John.
can't
I'm
brush
not
my
trying
teeth with
to
it, but hey.
get. But this could be. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Go, just run with it.
I'm
6
all ears.
prefaces.
Have this come out St. Patty's Day, and then have it run maybe mid-July, and it could be like a celebration.
I'll tell you what the series is. It's so St. Patty's Day, March is the mint. Then 4th of July is Pink Guava, and then something I swore I would never do, but it's an IPA. Is a pumpkin spice. Milkshake IPA.
I wasn't expecting that.
That sounds awesome.
You bring a brewer on here who says they swear they weren't going to do it, and they don't.
Come on,
do
you
it.
got to look at your market.
I mean,
Well, I think the reason that I've justified doing it is because it's a milkshake IPA, and I don't think I've ever had a pumpkin spice. I do like pumpkin pie. I don't hate pumpkin.
When it's done right,
right.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I've never had Griffin Claw, but I heard they do it right. I mean, I think they have a good beer. So
That's 3. What's the?
So and then the last one. This is what Ken is just going to spit it. Make sure you don't have a sip of
It's
beer.
a
He's gonna spit it
quadruple barrel-aged IPA with
No, it's gonna-
lactose,
no,
New
it's-
England.
No, not that crazy. It's much more simple than that. Eggnog.
Oh yes! Oh yes!
Okay. Okay.
You've got me for the next year set, man.
That is throwing the ball deep.
Hold on a second. For those of us who are lactose intolerant,
Don't drink it. It's not a good beer for you.
Interesting as all hell.
Well, there will be lactose in it.
That's fine. I can handle lactose in a beer.
Okay.
I can't handle lactose in eggnog. And so I can't. I have not been able. I have not been able to have eggnog since 2002.
So I haven't had. Robert R&D'd that a little bit, and he. So let me just tell you, Robert Orler, director of brewing, greatest guy ever. Really, really unbelievable guy. In fact, he has been. Everybody's been absolutely critical. Dan Feeblecorn, our CFO, obviously Adam, Al Silveria mentioned him. But Robert has been over there busting his ass getting that beer made because there was no beer. So he's done a great job. So when you start seeing Dark Horse out there, it's been Robert and his team, those Dark Horse heroes over there, and then Robert. But anyways, Robert hated the eggnog idea. Pretty much told me to go, you know what. But I wouldn't stop. I'm like, just try it. It might be good. You never know. Just give it a shot. And then he didn't really like the pumpkin idea either. So we've been so busy trying to get these deals done, and so I sometimes am not as focused on that. My idea is coming to life. Just do it, Robert. Here's the idea. Go.
Right.
And he called me up one day. He goes, hey, where are you at? I go, I'm driving here. And he's like, I think the eggnog is going to be great. And I'm like, really? And he says, and the pumpkin spice, shit, I think it's better. I'm struggling with this mint, the one that he thought, but he said it's I haven't had it, but when Robert says he's confident and he's comfortable with it, it makes me feel good. So get ready for that.
I'm ready. Like as long as kind of like the silky mouthfeel, the nutmeg, that cinnamon, and the spice that is coming off of it. And those are the spices, because we were like struggling, like, okay, what is eggnog? And so you have to kind of put it all together. Right. Yeah.
Before we take a break, John, I need you to go back in time.
Okay.
You are walking into our Ferndale studio 4 years ago. You meet yourself. What is one part wisdom that you want to share with yourself that you've learned now to tell yourself 4 years ago?
Oh my God, I've made so many mistakes that it's so much. Geez, which one? I know. Here's what I know. I try to fall forward, meaning when I make a mistake, try not to make it again.
A lot of football metaphors here.
Well, is that football? Maybe, I don't know. I think that's.
Yeah, you don't want to drop back.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. You're talking about. I get it.
Snap.
I get it. Okay, I was thinking just making a mistake, but okay, that's good. We'll go with that. Geez, I made a lot of mistakes. It's been difficult, but I think for me, just really, I mean, you're always trying to surround yourself with people smarter than you, and I know for a fact that our management team, I can't do anyone's job better, and so I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, Ken, but I'm just telling you where I'm at. Right now, I think it's a great team we've assembled, very talented, experienced, and I think if we succeed, big if, because it's difficult, there's no guarantees, but if we succeed, it's going to be because of them, and also, hopefully people rally around us and they want to see Dark Horse and ROAK succeed, but. I'm not sure I'm answering your question, but that's how I'm answering it.
Well, you didn't say don't go on the show, so I'm
I love
take
this
that
show.
as a win.
Actually, let me just say this, and it was Ken's been after me, and I kept saying, Ken, no, I'm working on some shit. I want to give you a good show. And
no, I sound like the dating app.
And it would be
swipe left.
You were stalking me a little bit, and I kept saying it's going to be boring. I don't want to be a boring. And there's going to be some exciting stuff if it all comes together. Just wait. Here's what I want to promise you: we will come back more often. Hopefully, you never know. I might be working on something else and blowing you off, but.
All right.
All right, guys, we got one more segment. We're going to be right back. Better on Draft Podcast. And we're back to 10. Better on Draft Podcast. Still in studio with us, Adam and John. I'm still drinking the mint New England IPA, but we're going to be cracking open, if you could, Mr. Robert, blow your face out.
Let's do this.
So while he's pouring it, the first question I kind of want to ask, and I think this is probably more towards John, what was the reasoning why you guys decided to buy Dark Horse?
Well, geez. I mean, that's easy. I mean, it's iconic. It's one of the original badass breweries in Michigan. You know, as a fan, as a competitor, I was always looking at Dark Horse and was jealous of Dark Horse, how successful they were and how cool they were and how many great things they had accomplished. And so, I mean, why not Dark Horse, really? I mean, Dark Horse is just, they're a legendary, iconic, fucking awesome brewery. I mean, that's why.
So a lot of people, obviously, if you read the forums, the posts, the pages, etc., when the sale of Dark Horse came through, a lot of people did not realize that the sale of Right Brain did not go through. You guys do not own Right Brain, correct?
Correct.
What can you tell us about the fallout of that? Was it just, two people didn't agree on the final numbers, or what can you tell us that led to that not happening?
When you're trying to do a deal, there's a lot of moving parts, and the logistics and just didn't come together on that deal. And I wish them nothing but luck. Russell's a good man over there, and really wonderful people at Right Brain, make great beer. I also never say never. You never know. But yeah, I mean, we just couldn't get it right. We just couldn't get it right, and it was a struggle. And I'm not blaming. I mean, I had as much of to do with that as anybody. It's not any one person's fault. Probably a combination of things, but it just didn't come together. So deals are hard to make. I mean, you're trying to get married, and you're dealing with entrepreneurs who have these strong beliefs and feelings on how it should work, and we're like I said before, we're not AB or some other large Fortune 500 brewery that has a lot of cash on the sidelines. So it's got to be a lot of give and take. If we could just write this massive check, then sure, it would be easy. But we can't do that. We have to be creative, and that makes it challenging and difficult. So it just didn't come together. I think we couldn't get everything aligned. But like I say, I think about them a lot. I want nothing but the best for them. If there's some type of something that came out of it for me that I'm almost feel like they're still part of me, Right Brain, and you never know. You never say never. Maybe someday we do get together.
Now, we got about 20 minutes left, and one of the things that I talked about, so I was talking to the head brewer over at 9 Yards, and I think this is something we were talking about it prior to the show starting, and it's beer festivals and a fatigue that you're getting from beer festivals, as there's all of these beer festivals that are happening all the time. How do you guys decide which festivals to attend versus which festivals not to attend?
I'll defer to Adam on that one.
Just call him Captain.
I get all the shitty questions.
John's like, I don't want
6 questions.
Listen, I mean,
No,
you actually try to do as many as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always the cause, right? At the end of the day, what is this festival delivering in terms of the is there a charity or some people, or an event or something that's important to the community? And I think it's really picking and choosing, if you're strong in that market, if you're not strong in that market, do you have salespeople? I mean, I've always built my event participation or festival participation around sales opportunities. So if we have a festival that we're participating in Traverse City, and I have a sales rep that's going to port the festival, and the festival's on Saturday, so Thursday they're driving towards Traverse City, they're working their way up there. Friday they get into town, they get all their stuff ready for the festival. work the market again. Saturday, work the festival. Hopefully see some of the bartenders or accounts at the festival and some of the consumers maybe in those accounts, and then work their way back. So I've always kind of tied a lot of my festivals and events around sales activities to get the most bang for your buck. And then, I also look for opportunities where other people aren't participating. I mean, if it's a unique festival or it's to a unique cause, or it's something where you're just not one of 100 breweries, but you're one of 10 or 15, and you engage a different type of consumer or different charity that probably wasn't touched on before. So kind of look at it like, because there are so many and there's so much tonnage in terms of festivals, is look at it, how much resource I have, can I tie in my sales team's activities in with it? Is the end benefactory of the event something that's important to us? Is it part of a community? And and how much time and resources we have with the whole team.
Now, being in the industry for so long, what is your favorite festival to attend across the country?
That's a really great question.
I mean, you said I asked you all the hard ones. I wanted to give you a little softball underhand.
It was the shitty one. It was the shitty one.
That sounds like a
shitty question.
So many festivals to pick through out of
I know, especially at my age.
You worked in the game, but you worked in all 50 states too.
I know,
Right.
but no.
50 states, been in the game.
Just
for
go to music
decades.
festivals; it'll be a lot easier.
You know what? It's funny because GABF used to be like back in the day before there was so many people, and you really had an opportunity to touch so many consumers, and the consumer is diluted because there's so many great breweries, right? So you don't get to see as many of the people you'd see year in, year out. That used to be one of my greatest. Oregon Brewers Fest, OBF, is incredible. I mean, that's really fun. I used to do a beer and food festival in Miami that was, I think, ahead of its time back in the day in the early 2000s, and Extreme Beer Festival from
Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I was there from day one, literally doing the very first festival with ROAK, and then carrying that along with Dogfish, which was incredible. God, it put me on the spot.
That's what an interview is.
Yeah, no, it's just there's been so many great, but again, it's kind of like there's so many more festivals and so many more breweries that it gets a little bit diluted. The Big Beers and Barley Wine Festival is cool. So I mean,
They say since you're back here, you got Fobab over at the end of the year.
I was just
over in Chicago.
Yeah.
They just I missed the opportunity, but they just had the Uppers and Downers Festival, which is the coffee and beer festival.
Interesting.
Uppers and Downers.
It's a great name.
awesome.
It was actually the day after the Winter Beer Fest.
Oh, it was.
Wow.
And I couldn't go.
I couldn't pull that.
Yeah, the Winter Beer Fest this year, because we lifted in. I went hard, and it was fun.
You normally never go hard.
Well, normally I'm driving.
Yeah,
everyone.
normally you're driving.
And
So I wasn't
you're driving back to Detroit.
Yeah, I wasn't asking. When I go to festivals, I'm like, can I get that quad? But can I get like a third of a pour? Like, I'll still give you the token. I just want a little pour, so
Just
I
to
could
be
try.
like, you know.
Now, with the amount of festivals that are out there, is there any thought of making your own? Just like a beer / music, and I don't. It's just like bouncing my head. You call it ROAK Rocks.
Well, I mean, the real opportunity for stuff like that's at Dark Horse. I mean, with the beer garden, that's like a 2,500 person capacity with 2 different stages. I think we're going to really, these guys have to back me down because I'm, trying to say, do you think we can get Led Zeppelin to play?
I would say with the amount of concerts where we were talking before we started, with the amount of concerts we were talking about going through, I mean, clearly you are a music person.
I am. Yeah, I love it. And so
Obviously, we just need a Darude concert over there.
So we're gonna do some stuff over there. Maybe year one we don't have a lot of time. We just everything was just consummated 2 weeks ago. So, but I think we're gonna try. I mean, listen, the barbecue festival.
Yeah, Smoke Off.
Smoke Off is April 18th. 40 professionals, 40 amateur barbecue. We've got some really cool judges coming in there, and a couple former Lions are helping out, and it's a good cause. We're raising money for a local food bank. But we're throwing music in there, like the Orbisons. I called them up. I called Vinny up. I'm like, can you do this? He's like, oh man, let me figure that out. I'm on tour here, Sponge. And he's like, you know what? We're in. So Sponge is in for that festival. They never had music. Not Sponge. Stop. Orbisons.
I
Orbisons.
mean,
Are
it's still
in.
local, big local act.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Orbisons.
I mean,
Are you
you're
kidding?
around
I
here,
love those
Your
guys.
name Vinny. We know what you're talking about for sure.
So Vinny and the Orbisons will be playing at the for the Smoke Off, and then there's a local band that I forget the name, but it's a really cool name, something like I don't know, something meat eaters, something. It's really cool, but they're supposed to be great. They're gonna be there, so that's new to that to that event, and then we're gonna. I mean, we've been talking like some major touring bands names have been thrown around, but I don't know if we'll pull that off this year.
I'd love to do something like Extreme Beer Festival too, but on a smaller scale. I mean, just bring in some brands or some breweries that aren't here.
That's what I would really like to see, because I mean, going to the Brewers Guild festivals, obviously it's going to be the Brewers Guild members, which is great, and there's a lot of breweries. But I would like to see some of the other breweries that don't normally come here and enjoy some of the stuff that they're making, because we have a lot. We've got 350 plus
70.
370 breweries that are here.
At mybeermap.com.
And we get to enjoy quite a bit of those. And, some of those we actually get to buy as a tuna liquor over at M59 in Rochester Road.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, that's how you do that.
He cleans his lines.
He cleans his lines. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of breweries that, a lot of people will, do whatever they can to trade for these beers and get these beers. And, I'm not very good at doing any of that stuff, but it's like, I'd like to actually try some of the stuff from, bring some stuff from Trillium or Treehouse or Southern Grist or, just like other breweries that are out there, and just have them come into the area just for one day. And like, all right, we'll give it a shot.
That's what Firestone has, an incredible invitational beer festival.
Oh, Firestone Walker.
Yeah,
yes.
and so... And, between John and I think we know a lot of people, outside of Michigan brewery-wise. I think we could do something really super cool, a dark horse in terms of something like that, some sort of invitational, some sort of hybrid of the Extreme Beer Festival. I mean...
We tried it locally, not we, Better on Draft, but Bee Nectar. Bee Nectar hosted their own little beer festival, the Ferndale Palooza, which they got like Seventh Son, Funky Buddha, Cigar City before you could get Cigar City here. But they had an issue just selling. Like I don't know what the hard like entry into market for the beer festival for that kind of thing. Like, is there a lot of people that would want to go to it, or
for the names they brought, I thought they would have had a bigger draw.
Those are big names.
Those are big names.
They had 3 Floyds.
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
I mean, basically, it felt like they were doing this festival as a retaliatory.
It was a retaliatory after the
because
festivals.
They couldn't go to the Brewers Guild festival, so they made their own, and they brought these huge ass names. But I think
I would
show up. If, so it could have been a territorial thing. I mean, Michigan's got great breweries on their own, and maybe
definitely.
And Michigan's always supported Michigan. Look at the auto.
That's just a Michigan thing. Yeah,
you look at the auto industry. I mean, Buy American.
We don't drink Canadian Dry. We drink Vernors.
Right. You're right.
Well, Vernors is better anyway.
So maybe I could be.
We
wrong,
don't drink root beer floats.
We
drink Boston Coolers.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think I would tie it in with some sort, a couple other aspects to go along with it. Some sort of food aspect to it, maybe a music aspect to it too.
Music, gotta have music. Always.
The one thing I always say, I get the Michigan thing, but you don't always eat tacos from Mexico, right?
Well, I eat tacos from the #1 rated American Mexican restaurant, Taco Bell.
I had that for dinner tonight.
I haven't had Taco Bell in a long time.
I'm going to have Taco Bell on the way home.
I had my Crunchwrap Supreme. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed. You're not missing much.
Now I go to, where's Evie's? Evie's in Mexican Village.
Okay.
Definitely a great Mexican restaurant for sure.
I was going to try to do Chipotle, but then I looked at there and they had no chicken and they had no beef. They were out.
Oh, carnitas for sure.
They didn't even have carnitas either.
Where the fuck did
You
you
get
go?
The one in Southfield.
So
What was
Ken,
it, Taco Bell?
What up?
What, they were out of kangaroo?
Did
Yeah,
you
they were
drink
out of
to blow
cake,
your
yeah.
face out?
I did. I drank the blow your face off. It was terrible, and I'll never drink it again.
Out. Blow your face
Hey,
out.
another
Oh,
five-
blow your face out. Did I
another
say
5
off?
years from now, he'll
About
have
the
Off
blow.
is too violent. It's blow your face out.
Can you blend the blow your face out, the pininess, with the
mint of
mint
the-
milkshake and make?
I mean,
like a
you mean like do
Christmas-
some blending right now?
Yeah, I was giving
I
a
mean, we
kangaroo.
have
Or you
everything.
could.
All right,
I'm-
yeah,
I'm-
get-
know
get
we
Rob-
do.
I had the
we're
blow
gonna
your
I'm
face.
just saying, like it could
Blend
be
it.
like a Christmas.
Let's see what
blend,
happens. It might
you know?
taste good.
I had the blow your face out. I didn't like it. Sorry.
What you got, Rob? Was it
1.5 for
Hold on.
3.
little? This is not as crazy as the French press, but it's
Didn't you guys do that for like a
I think
year?
it is
couple
exactly
weeks.
what John is talking about, where you're mixing the wrong hops with the mint. Because suddenly that pineapple and the tropical comes in with the mint, and it throws everything off.
I'll just stick with my.
Oh right, because this says the tropical.
Because that has the
Stone
tropical.
Mosaic.
Yes.
It's got 50%.
I mean,
mosaic hops
it's
in there.
definitely intriguing, but it's just like the mint is just.
Too much.
It's no. The mint is in the background, and I
Not-
think
not enough.
that's what's bothering me. Is that I
Right,
want
the
the mint.
citrus overpowers
the
the
citrus
mint.
overpowers it. So it's
Got
it's
it.
exactly what I was saying about throwing the wrong hops in there.
So if brewed with the right hops, you're saying it could work.
Right, so I'm not saying blend it now like that. I'm
I
why
mean, why not? We're even
No, you're
scientists.
what
Fuck
you're
that.
talking about is a variant of blow your face out.
Right, a
But
variant.
I mean, blow your face out is to me. It's so just right. It's so traditional craft beer. It's. I mean, this is a big boy beer. I mean,
Yes.
10%.
Yeah. Well, how about like 10.75?
I feel like that was earmarked towards me.
That beer it's 10. I think this beer is 10.5.
10.5.
5,
100
It actually you're allowed a little.
You're allowed some wiggle room.
Yeah, it went to 10.75.
Well, we'll call it 10.75 on
So this beer is, and I like to call it clean and mean. I mean, it is clean.
It is.
But it is mean.
John, you're good with words. You're good. That was clean and mean.
Kind of Shakespearean, don't you think?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My English degree says
Little merchants of
Good
Venice
job.
going on right there. That's good.
All we know is that Ken's not a big fan of it, but he loves the mint.
well.
I do like the mint.
Talking
We found
about-
an
That's what this
IPA.
is right here.
Ken, this has got a sweetness. I mean, there's a little sweet backbone to this. So it's not. I mean, it is definitely. There's a lot of hops in there. It's high IBUs, but the malts that are in there to achieve that high level of ABV. It's got a sweetness to it.
I
He's gonna disagree.
don't like it. I don't think it's a bad beer. I'm not going to tell you that it's terrible. I'm just going to say I don't like it.
You know what, Ken?
And that's it.
I don't like peppers, so I understand.
don't like peppers
I
either.
can't stand.
Oh, I love peppers.
Yeah, you're not a spicy guy.
I
Ken.
love them.
I'm not
hate
a spicy guy. No,
Oh.
I
Are there? My question.
I'm a
for
savory
you
guy.
Is, are there going to be any Dark Horse ROAK cross betweens collab?
Collaboration.
Oh yeah, for
Didn't-
sure.
But are you going to brand it as such?
Oh jeez, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Adam's thought
Dark
about that. I
oak.
haven't thought about that.
Dark oak.
I mean, we haven't even got the brewing teams together. It's been so it's been like kind of all hands on deck. You know, we're just trying to get beer made. Excuse me. Get packaging in, and so we're just doing the best we can to get Dark Horse back on the shelves.
Sure.
And
There's
on
some
tap.
excitement there from the brewing team over at Dark Horse to get over here and use the equipment over here.
And the same
do
for
something
same
fun,
for
and
the
same for
the
over
team
here,
over at ROAK. I mean, they're going to get along great. Brewers tend to get along. I mean, they're very much
Yeah.
it's a union. Michigan Brewers.
What is a beer that you want to brew that maybe people are not too keen on you brewing? Like you were talking about the eggnog and the brewery.
The mint apparently people weren't very keen on it because
Mint, for sure.
it's right now like the lowest rated beer we've ever had. But hey, I say there's going to be people that it hasn't really gotten on to distribution. It's getting out as we speak. So, but. What beer? What was the question? What beer do we want to brew?
What beer do you want to brew? You, John Leone.
I think I've lived out that fantasy. I think I'm running out of ideas. I'm looking for these Adam and the rest of the team to kind of carry it along from here on out. I've done everything. I mean, blow your face
No,
out.
first of all, you haven't because I don't see an alt beer here.
Oh, geez.
Well, no, I'm not saying I've done everything. I'm just saying I'm kind of like running out
Ken,
of ideas, so I'm looking for some help.
The
Edwin.
question was for him, though, not you.
Yeah, he said he'd done everything, and I said you haven't.
No, I mean, I've done, and I should clarify, I've done everything that my brain is capable of. I'm running out. I'll come up with some ideas, but I want to see what these guys got. Adam's
What do you want to do,
a
Adam?
special guy.
You've been given the king, like the keys to 2 castles.
Well,
President Adam.
Lambert, President Lambert. All right.
President Lambert.
Yes.
Mr. President.
we're gonna do a bone beer for the smoke off.
Like a bone marrow beer.
Yeah, like
Oh my
bone.
God.
Think bones,
Okay.
bone marrow, maybe chicken bones, you name it, kind of bones. So we're gonna do that. Robert's been working on that for the smoke off, and then also traditional Rausch beer for the smoke off too.
Okay.
So we're gonna try and
That's
dabble
smoky.
yeah, exactly.
gotcha.
For the smoke off out at Dark Horse.
That's what you're going to do. What do you want to do?
Well, actually, I didn't even bring this up. So we've got a giant back warehouse behind the brewery, and I was talking about the barrel room that we.
Which brewery?
He's
Dark
saving
Horse.
the best for last.
I
year.
know, it's spaced. That's
Hurry up,
my
you don't have a lot
normal,
of
yeah.
time.
We're good.
We have all the time.
Oh yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So we're
We're
gonna
not going to get Johnny Carson's not coming on.
Oh
next,
no,
are we?
no. We're good.
we're gonna
You guys
separate.
know who Johnny Carson is?
Jesus, John, can
I
we get a
know
word
who
in?
Johnny Carson
Yes.
is.
Yes.
I'm not a Gen
Yes.
Zer.
We 3 are the oldest ones in the room. We're good.
All right, Adam.
We're gonna separate the warehouse in the back. We're gonna have a rather large barrel aging room, but we're also looking at putting in an actual traditional sour brewery that's separate. Think cool ship, think photos, think barrel aging, separate bottling line.
Kind of like how Wicked Weed has their Funkatorium.
Exactly, and I mean it's all in concept right now, but we have enough things and equipment at Dark Horse to be able to start this process. There is a cool. Aaron started a cool ship back there, so there's pieces of it. But we have separated an entire area that would be standalone away from the regular brewery too. So to really go down the path of like a very traditional sour facility. That's totally separated and isolated from the rest of the facility and then the back part of campus. And that's something that, like, you know, we've got the kettle sour with ROAK, and to be able to bring a truly traditional sour beer to market with Dark Horse, we'd be covering both ends of it. Back to what we were talking about on the flavor profile.
Yeah. So I mean, and I mean, I guess, you know, as far as, you know, trying things that you may want to try or may not want to try, there seems to be, at least from what I'm seeing, a lot of breweries or just breweries that are just coming up in the news that are playing with cereal, like playing with tricks or Lucky Charms.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Don't get me started on that.
Nine Yards mentioned
like,
they're doing
like
a
at
Fruity
least
Pebbles
twice
beer.
a day. I'm telling Adam, like, let's can we make a beer with Count Chocula?
I mean, there was one that came out. I believe I think it was called Rainbow Smiggles, and it was brewed with Skittles and Tricks.
What?
Yes, and just like there's like so many that are coming out, and it feels like it's just kind of like this publicity thing, but everybody's eating it up. But at the same time, there aren't other breweries that are stepping up to it to basically say, "Oh, this is the new New England, or this is the new seltzer. This is the new trend that I need to get onto."
you know, the bottom line is people are going to drink what they want to drink, and if they want Cocoa Puffs or Count Chocula or tricks in their beer, I mean, put it in there and let them drink it. I mean, for me personally, I mean, back to I can't answer. I don't think there's a beer that I can tell you the beer I'm most excited about is the 4 Elves high ABV, really high ABV, high IBU IPA. That is my dream. That beer right there, and maybe only second, not second, but second to that would be extremely high ABV. I like high ABV. Don't I? A high ABV.
Do you remember our last show?
Stout. I would like to brew those. Those 2 beers I'm excited about. Adam will bring them to life and the team, but I'm excited to sit on the sidelines and watch that happen because those are ideas that I've always wanted to kind of bring to life at ROAK, but it sounds like it's going to be at Dark Horse.
Adam, thank you so much for telling us your story. John, thank you so much for giving us the update on Dark Horse as well as ROAK. Guys, that's going to do it for us. Better on Draft, episode 210 in the books. Don't forget to check out Michigan Beer Box, mibeerbox.com. Draftness 2020 to get $20 for life for your subscription box. You can go to Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills. Go check them out. North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan. Obviously, the Ferndale set, we appreciate them letting us use their music. That's going to do it for us. Better on Draft. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, give us a iTunes 5-star rating. You know, be nice. We're decent. We're still struggling. I mean, 210 episodes.
I mean, hey, we're here.
We're here.
We're still here. We're
every
strong.
week. Every week.
Yeah, every week. 3 R's.
That's going to do it, guys. Round 2 starts tomorrow, which is probably going to be today when you're listening, or a previous day if you're listening way in the future, because today is technically the 6th. Guys, thank you so much again for joining us, and no matter what you think of your beer, wow, let's try that one more time.
Try that again, Ken.
Mint
milkshake right there.
Mint milkshake. I got it right here. It's delicious. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's better on Draft. Have a good night.
Shadow's got to go to bed. Peace.